Well, I went nuts picking up flowering plants to show you. Now, this isn't all of the different types of plants that you can find in florists and greenhouses, but it does give you a good selection of the more common ones. Now, one of the old standbys are the cyclamen. Now, cyclamen like cool temperatures. A cool room is ideal. They like to be in indirect light, bright light, but not in direct sunlight. Keep them evenly moist. Let the soil surface dry out a little bit before you water them again. And not only do they have flowers in quite a range of pretty colors, they also have quite a bit of variation in their foliage. And even for the foliage, they're worthwhile growing. They're also available in dwarf forms. Basically the same color range, the same foliage patterns. When you buy a cyclamen, make sure that you're buying a plant that has plenty of new buds coming so that you have plenty of display for later, not just at the time that you buy the plant. Now, back here we have a Kalanchoe. Originally this was introduced as a Christmas plant, but they've widened the range of colors. Now they have yellow, orange, and reds, and you can usually find it year-round. It's mixed in a basket with several foliage plants. Now you can save these from year to year, but like Christmas cactus, they're very dependent upon the day length. So in the fall, you'll need to give them short days to get them to reflower. Same procedure as you go through for Christmas cactus. Down here we have basically a pretty unusual flowering plant. You don't always find it. These are primroses. Now they are a hardy plant. They would be winter hardy, but they wouldn't tolerate our summers. They like cool, shady, moist conditions. So that gives you an idea of what conditions you need to keep them inside. You need to keep them well watered. A cool windowsill is just fine, and they need to be in indirect light, not direct sunlight. In florist shops and greenhouses this time of year, you'll find generally a wide selection of your spring flowering bulbs that are being forced into growth. Now these miniature daffodils are especially nice. One thing to look for, you don't necessarily want to buy ones that are in full bloom. Look for the flower buds that are forming so that you know that they're there, but if you get them before they bloom, then you get the full enjoyment. If you buy ones that are already bloomed, and someone else has already gotten some of the enjoyment out of them. African violets, there's not much I need to say about them. They've been around for years, a very popular plant. To get them to flower well, make certain they have plenty of light. Not direct sunlight though. If you put them in too high a sunlight, you'll get burning of the foliage, such as this. So keep them in indirect but bright light, keep them well fed, keep them well watered. Another plant we've seen before is the hibiscus. We've seen it outside as well as an inside plant. These have been treated with a growth retardant to keep them short. They still have the same blooms. Now, they need a very high light, very high moisture, very high fertilization in order to keep them growing well. If they don't have the conditions that they need to grow, they won't set on flower buds, and you won't get very much of a flower display after the buds that are formed go by. But if you keep them growing well, they will bloom almost continuously. Your mums, your florist mums come in a wide variety of colors and forms. One thing to keep in mind is they are different varieties than the garden mums. They aren't winter hardy. And once the flowers that are on there are gone by, there are no more flowers coming from them. So if you buy them, they're basically a one-shot deal. You might be able to save them, get some flowers during the summer, but they won't survive the winter. Now, Amaryllis are bulbs that we've talked about many times before. We've talked about growing them, keeping them wintered over. In the winter, you can often buy them as pre-started, pre-potted, packaged plants. Now, this way, most of the trouble has already been done for you, and if you don't want to mess with saving it, you can just dump it out afterwards. If you want to save it, they're perfectly fine to go ahead and grow on and save them until next year. Now this is a florist azalea. It is not the same as the azaleas that you grow outside that you buy at garden centers and nurseries. This is not winter hardy. It has very beautiful flower buds. This like the chrysanthemum, has just a limited number of flower buds. Once this is done blooming, there are no more blooms coming. So make certain you get one that has plenty of buds that have not opened up so you can get full enjoyment from the plant. You can save these from year to year, but it's very complicated. Most people don't want to bother with it. You have to grow it through the summer, give it several months of winter, cool temperatures in order to get it to rebloom. Well, I can tell you one thing. I have had fun walking through here, looking at all this color and showing it to you. I hope all this color has brought a little bit of sunshine into your day. We'll see you again next week.